And in today's video, bodies in the trunk, mysterious symbols on an elementary school rooftop, a murderer caught thanks to Google Maps, and much more. So sit back, get comfortable, because we're kicking off the very first episode on our channel, all about the wildest Google Maps mysteries. Let's get started. All right, our first story is straight up wild. We're heading to a tiny Spanish village called
Tajueco.
So small it has like 50 residents, one bar, and probably more goats than people. And in this quiet little nowhere, someone just vanished into thin air. So back in late 2023, police got a missing person report for a 33-year-old Cuban guy. The report came from a relative who got a very suspicious text message from the missing man. The message basically said, "Hey, found a new girlfriend, moved to another part of Spain, getting rid of my phone, don't even try to call me." Yeah, super believable, right? Naturally, the relative wasn't buying it and reported it to the cops. Now, investigating a disappearance in a city is one thing. You've got cameras, witnesses, and all that jazz. But
Tajueco.
this is the kind of place where you could drag a dead body down Main Street, and the only witnesses would be some chickens and an old guy napping on his porch. But here's where it gets crazy. While looking for leads, police decided to check Google Maps, because why not? And it just so happened that for the first time in 15 years, a GoogleStreetView car had driven through the village and taken fresh images. And guess what? That one-in-a-million moment caught something interesting. In the distance, police spotted a man pushing a wheelbarrow with a suspiciously body-shaped white sack in it. Now, maybe he was just hauling some innocent farm goods. Or maybe not, but it gets worse. As the Google car continued down the road, it snapped another photo. And there, in full HD, was the same guy standing next to a red car with that same body-shaped package now in the trunk. At this point, police had seen enough. They tracked down the guy from the photos and arrested him, along with his partner in crime, the missing man's ex-wife. Turns out the missing guy wasn't missing anymore. He'd been found in pieces, buried in a cemetery 12 minutes away. I mean, imagine thinking you got away with murder, only for Google Street View to roll up like, "Say cheese." The dude really thought he was in the clear, pushing a literal corpse through town and boom, immortalized on the internet forever. Moral of the story? If you're gonna commit a crime, maybe check if Google's around first. All right, time for a little break from crime. Though, honestly, anyone who's ever driven through this thing has probably considered murdering the engineer who designed it. Let me introduce you to the most cursed piece of road infrastructure ever. A roundabout inside a roundabout with 5 other roundabouts connecting them. I swear, whoever came up with this must have been sipping on something real strong, because what the actual hell is this? At first glance, it looks like someone just got bored and started doodling circles on a city map. But weirdly enough, this Frankenstein of traffic engineering actually makes some sense. Let's break it down. On a normal roundabout, if you want to go from here to there, you'd have to loop all the way around, right? Well, here, you can just hop onto one of the mini roundabouts, use it to slip into the inner roundabout, cruise a bit, then hop back onto another mini roundabout to exit exactly where you need to be. In theory, super efficient. In practice, absolute chaos. Because let's be real, most drivers take one look at this madness and think, nope, not today.
Not today.
I'm not trying to die in a 5-layer traffic nightmare. This thing is only efficient if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just another confused soul, trapped in an eternal loop of poor life choices. So if you ever find yourself approaching this engineering fever dream, just remember, either you master it, or it masters you. Ready for another criminal caught thanks to Google Maps? Before we head off to Italy, a quick reminder. If you're digging these stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow. Okay, what do we have now? Imagine pulling off a prison escape so good that you disappear for 20 years, build a whole new life in another country, open a business, and even get yourself a new name, only to get busted because of Google Street View. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to Gioacchino Gamino, an Italian mafia boss who thought he had it all figured out. So let's rewind a bit. Back in 1998, Gamino was convicted of a bunch of serious crimes, including murder, and got slapped with a life sentence. 4 years into his stay at Rebibbia prison in Rome, some film crew decided to shoot a movie inside. Now, I have no idea what kind of chaos went down on that set, but Gamino saw his chance and just walked out. Seriously, that's it. He escaped. No elaborate Shawshank tunnel, no Mission Impossible disguises. Just used the confusion and poof, he was gone. For the next 2 decades, this dude was a ghost. Cops looked, they investigated, they had a European arrest warrant out, but nothing. Meanwhile, Gamino had moved to a quiet little Spanish town called Galapagar near Madrid. He got married, started a fruit and veggie shop, opened a restaurant, and lived as a guy named Manuel. He was chilling, probably thinking he had pulled off the ultimate vanishing act. But here's where things take a turn. While scouring through leads, Sicilian investigators decided to do some good old-fashioned internet stalking. They pulled up Google Street View and boom, there he was, casually chatting outside his own fruit shop, El Huerto de Manu, aka Manu's Garden. Cops thought, hey, that guy kind of looks like our missing mafia dude. But wait, it gets better. A few clicks later, they found another local business, La Cocina de Manu. You guessed it, Manu's Kitchen. The restaurant's Facebook page had an old photo of Gamino dressed as a chef. And guess what? The guy still had the same scar on his chin. Oh, and the menu? It had a dish called Cena Siciliana, Sicilian dinner. Real subtle, dude. So, cops swoop in, and Gamino gets arrested on December 17th. And his reaction? Absolute shock. How did you find me? I haven't even called my family in 10 years. Bro, you literally ran a business with your face on the internet. To be fair, Italian police later said that they were already closing in on him. But Google Maps kind of sealed the deal. Just imagine, you evade authorities for 2 whole decades, and in the end, it's a random Google Street View car that does you in. Some truly next-level bad luck. All right, buckle up, because we're heading to North Carolina for a story that proves sometimes trusting Google Maps a little too much can be deadly. So, picture this. It's 2022, and a guy is driving home late at night after a birthday party. He's not from the area, it's dark as hell, and he's just following his GPS like we all do when we have no clue where we're going. At one point, Google Maps tells him, turn right. So, he turns right. Now, here's where things get real messed up. There's a road, all right, but if you were to look at an updated map today, you'd see that the road doesn't actually exist anymore. Back in the day, there was a bridge here, until it collapsed, 9 years earlier. Yeah, almost a decade had passed, and Google Maps was still confidently sending people straight into the abyss. And our guy? Well, unfortunately, he was looking more at his phone than at the actual road. So, instead of noticing that his shortcut was actually a shortcut to the river below, he just drove right off that missing bridge and crashed into the water. He didn't make it. His family later sued Google for damages, which, honestly, fair enough. But also, shouldn't the city have, I don't know, put up a big-ass barrier, or at least a sign saying, hey, maybe don't drive here unless you're a boat? Moral of the story, maybe don't trust everything your GPS tells you, because sometimes that turn right is actually Google's way of saying, good luck, buddy. All right, let's wrap this up on a lighter note. Before we go, here's a little surprise from a bird's eye view of a certain German elementary school. Everything looks totally normal at street level, but if you're a German parent browsing Google Maps to check out potential schools for your kid, well, you might be in for a bit of a shock. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this, drop a like and hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.